Hello, welcome everyone. Happy early Lunarsad and Lammas. Today's Sunday, July 31st, a little bit after 5:30. And I am here to share a conversation about this time of the year. This is our first harvest as we get ready to wind down the end of summer, which I think most of us, or some of us, are grateful to have happen for weather-wise, temperature-wise. And I'm going to reflect on the reading that I did as well for the summer solstice. I pulled 3 cards during the summer solstice, and those 3 cards, well, actually I did 6 cards to represent each month. So each month I did a reading for July, August, September for the signs of Cancer, Leo, and Virgo. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to talk lightly about the card that I got for the month of August to represent Leo. Now I also have the link in this description for this episode to look back on if you want to take a look. Irene, hi, how are you? Good morning to you. I hope you're doing good. Happy Lammas, because I think it's already Monday for you. So happy Lammas, happy Lunarsad, August 1st. So I have the card here that I pulled for the month of August. And I'm going to pull some other cards to focus on this energy, particularly during this start into Lammas. So as I mentioned, Lammas is our first harvest for the season. Our second harvest is of Mabon during the autumn equinox. And our third and last harvest season, or harvest celebration, I should say, is the one that most of us enjoy, is Samhain on October 31st, November 1st. Okay, so there are different stages of celebrating the harvest. Okay, so we have here for our first harvest of Lunarsad, this is everything that we've, all the work, everything that we started in the spring, the preparations we did during the winter months, and then as we got into the spring season, Ostara, we start manifesting it. We start putting all that energy and start creating something from it. So that takes us from Ostara into our summer solstice, where that energy, everything that we've worked on, has built the direction of completion. And or if we're still continuing, if we still feel we have more work to do, we're still processing this energy. So with the summer solstice, we see this energy of fire, everything that we've been manifesting come to a complete crescendo. And now with the harvest, we collect, we take in what we've attained, what we've built upon us, and we give back to people. Okay, this is what harvest is all about. This time of the year, looking what we've accumulated, but what's really important to remember is we're not giving everything away. We need to save some of that energy for our fall and especially winter months. So as we move into the waning season right now, we need to be mindful of our energy, not to expend everything like we did over the spring and summer months. Now is the time that we slowly start taking an inventory and seeing what we have, what any excess we have, what we can give away, what we need to store aside, like the squirrels, put in the cabinet to save and work on during the fall, winter months, and then the cycle starts over again. When we get to Mabon and the autumn equinox, I'll talk a little bit about those energies for that time of the year. Okay, because once we get into Mabon and Samhain, we really start hunkering down, and we really start seeing what is of importance to us, what we have gained, whether it's material, physically, spiritually, what we've gained, and how we can best learn from it, how we can utilize it, how we can maybe expand from it. Okay, so everything that we may have attained during the spring and summer solstice, we can still build upon, but we have to learn how to work with the energies of the season. Okay, so we have to put what we've gained, set it aside, or continue working with what we have, so we can get it to where we need it to be, and then we can start utilizing those forces, what we've created, in the best way possible. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. So what I'm going to do is, I have a book I always make reference to, and this is Ancient Ways. I bring this book with me every Sabbath. So I have here Reclaiming Pagan Traditions by Pauline Campanelli and her husband, Dan Campanelli. I believe they have both passed on. Mel, hi, how are you? Thank you for coming in. Before I go on, I'm going to let you know, it's interesting that we're starting in a little bit slow with people coming in. This may be a short episode because I am feeling a little bit on the drained side. Our weather has been going up and down. We're cooling off a little bit, but I think the constant hot and then the storms coming in, cooling off, is catching up with me. So I'm trying to harvest, use whatever energy I feel I can give out to people, but also hold on and claim the energy that I have, so I can nurture it and be stronger next time around. So I just want to show you this really quickly. Okay, I sometimes read from this, and then I'm going to do the reading towards the end. So this book is very traditional. I don't know, Irene or Mel, do you have this book? Okay, so here we go with Lammas. Okay, and it goes through all the 8 Sabbats. It goes through some of the traditional ways of celebrating. Also, it tells you the fruits, vegetables that are of season during this time. We have tomatoes, string beans, what else? Peach preserves, jam. We start making all that fruit, all that stuff. We start expending on it and using it in a way so that it can withhold us through the summer months. I'm not saying to make jam or anything like that, but it's working with what we have, and saving it for a side, maybe investing in it so that it can be used in many different ways. What was interesting here, the beginning of this chapter here of Lammas, it was kind of a little interesting the way that Pauline started this chapter. She starts talking about the American flag and the meanings of the stars and the stripes. And she says here, both the stars and the stripes, of course, symbolize the 13 original colonies. But to a witch, 13 stars in a circle also represents the 13 lunar months in the wheel of the year, and the number 13 for members of the coven. The red and white stripes are actually strips of cloth that are remarkably like the red and white streamers of the traditional Nepal. And the similarity is all the more striking when one considers the natural position of the flag atop of a flagpole. So it's interesting how she brought the flags, the colors, the stars, to represent the relationship of pagan symbolism and celebration, like the maypole. And she goes on more. She talks a little bit about the history of the flag and the Constitution. I was thinking, wow, okay, how does this deal with Lammas? I could see some relationship, but it kind of threw me off a little bit. But that's the beauty of these books. You take what you want from it, pick information, you utilize it, and what you feel is best for you, and in turn, you expend it outwards and make it your own. She also talks about, because we were talking about the last week, got some interesting storm clouds happening, about thunderstorms. And I want to read something here that I think is of interest. It's sort of not quite related to Lammas, but she says here, apparently there is some connection between thunderstorms and the Earth's electromagnetic field. And the electromagnetic field with PSI in the spirit worlds. Thunderstorms have the power to stimulate or enhance psychic activity. And this magical power of the thunderstorm is contained in the rainwater from it. So I noticed when we were having these storms, I got caught in the last 2 days, like a downpour, torrential downpour. And as lightning was going and thunder was going, when coming home and reading this, something very interesting happened to me. She makes reference to how that psychic activity gets heightened when that electromagnetic field gets pulled up right ahead. Oh, they're kind of sorry, my science. Yeah, it's all those ions, and I felt for like during the time of the storms, I felt like invigorated. I was excited. I felt good since I was feeling a little tired. I felt that kick came in, and you can almost feel it in the air. For those who've experienced lightning and thunderstorms, especially in the summer months, there's something energetically that happens to you, and being coming from California originally, but now here in the Southwest Desert, we didn't get storms like that over there. But now getting in here, I can feel that shift, and it felt good. So there is that energy, there is that healing, there's that shifting of those ions that take place with these electromagnetic fields. When they shift and they get disturbed and they shake, there's that heightened energy that happens. And I don't know if you can hear. We have some rumbling going on in the background. Let's see here. She talks about the rainwater. This is something we can do for anyone who's going through some thunderstorms, lightning storms, and my thoughts go out to Kentucky, those people who've perished in those flood waters. That is something that, of course, goes beyond people's control and shows the power of Mother Nature, so we have to respect it, and it does what it does. But it is suggested here when you're collecting rainwater to put it in a glass or a earthenware container, something that will hold it. It's made of natural sources, and you just need enough just to purify any tools that you're working with. Do not put your tarot decks in this water, and but you can use this. This was gifted to me by Justin Michael. This is a deer antler, and this represents our time of the year with Lammas, and I have some candle wax on here. And this is Spirit's little chew toy as well. He enjoys this. But to cleanse, you can use that water for cleansing. Any amulets, anything glass, but watch out for those stones and crystals, because sometimes they are not water soluble. They may change the color of it, and you don't want to do that. So just be mindful when you're cleansing crystals or stones. Read about the properties and see if they are suitable to be soaked in water. One thing that is important, and I should have gotten some, but it slipped my mind, is mugwort. Mugwort is what you can use in these cleanses to enhance the power of your tools. You can maybe put some of this rainwater on your fingers and maybe wipe them, lightly dab them with the over your deck. I would say all the cards over the deck, and just put that intention and energy of empowerment into that deck. Irene, have the 1991 copy possible? Yes, yeah. I think some of us old school people know about this book. I remember seeing it like at least 25 years ago when I would go to these metaphysical stores. And actually, this just fell out of my book. This is one of the leaves I collected when I was in the mountains, and I left it in here as a reminder of the seasons. And so this, I believe, is birch. I believe this is a birch leaf. Anyhow, so it suggests that when you're creating this cleansing water that's made from rainstorms, thunder, lightning, all that energy coming in, put some mugwort in it. And I have to read here. It says, allow them to stand in the moonlight 3 nights prior to the full moon. So we do have our full moon coming up in 2 weeks. We just had our new moon. So if you want to start bringing in now, since we're in the waxy phases of the moon, it's mugwort, fresh rainwater, 3 nights before the full moon to empower it. And then you could cast a circle and bring anything that you want into that solution, if you will, magical solution, to empowerment. So again, remember, when you're using rainwater, especially when it's been charged with thunder and lightning energy, this is empowering. This will make it very strong. So, and also our full moon. Yeah, I believe so. I don't have my calendar here now, so I don't know, but let's say, oh, actually, you know what? Yeah, I got my phone here. I forgot. I got my app. I'm certain it's the 11th. Let's look at these 3 days before just to verify. It is the 11th. So if you want to start charging on August 9th, 10th, well, actually probably 8th, 9th, 10th of August, and remember August 8th is the Lion's Portal, even more magic to put in during this month of Leo. So we could start from the 8th, 9th, 10th, harness that energy in from the Lion's Gate of Cyrus and the Earth and the Sun and Leo all in alignment, and just bring that energy in. Waking in his image. Hi, thank you for watching. Appreciate you coming in. I don't recognize you, so thank you for coming in. And happy early wellness. So those 3 days before, and I went to a bookstore today, and boy, that was a big mistake. I spent two hours looking through books, and I did leave with something, but it wasn't a book. That will be another video. But sorry, I'm losing track. When the summer storm has passed, it is often followed by clear blue skies and hot, dry breezes. So it is suggested during these 3 days, it's best not to have this energy of this rainwater in your tools be exposed during the sun. It should only be during the moon phases. So if you have something on your windowsill, you may want to cover it or move it away so there's no direct sunlight coming in. And then when you get home, put it out, as the sun goes down, as it gets dark, and just let that moon, as it's waxing towards its full state, start building its power. Because the sun is very powerful, and so what we're trying to do is we're using that lunar energy to empower these tools for magic. You could do the same for solar, but in this case, I feel the energy for the moon for this, especially since it's been charged by the god of thunder, Thor, and lightning. I think we should still stick with, for me personally, use that lunar energy. Let's see here. She also talks here in this book about sandcastles, so on and so forth. The use of horseshoes and tridents for luck and for protection. This is another thing too with Lammas, is we want to protect what we've been working on. Okay, remember harvest. So we worked very hard to get to this point, so we want to protect it. So you could bring in these elements, tools, whatever you would need to protect and to guide the forces that you've put all your work into, so that it can continue moving in a safe and empowered manner. Okay, so there's also talk about food. I talked about tomatoes, sweet corn, bread. This is the time when people start working with those grains, wheat, and making meals out of these fresh vegetables and grains for health, especially as we get towards the tail end of the summer. We want nourishment from these foods that we've built. If you have a garden, look at what you have, and make use of it now. Make a nice healthy meal from it. Oh, waking in his image. This is ancient ways, and it's not out of print. You could still get it, and the Campanellis actually have a book that focuses also on the wheel of the year. But here with Ancient Ways, this goes more into the traditions. There's no recipes in here, but it breaks down a little bit of the history. You're so welcome. It breaks down into the history of the Sabbats. It's not comprehensive. Some of the rituals that you can do during this, the Sabbats. They also show about making the corn dolls or the corn mother, of course, out of wheat and the stalks. And so it's wonderful. It says, see where she explains here. In ancient times, the gathering of these bundles of grain were accompanied by much ritual and tradition. It was believed that the spirit that dwelled in all of the field of grain retreated as it was cut into the grains. Let me start over. It was believed that the spirit that dwelled in all of the field of grain, as it was cut into the grain, was still standing. For this reason, no one wanted to be the one to cut the last sheaf of grain. Instead, the harvesters took turns throwing their sickles at it until it was finally cut. So that's very interesting. They were fearful of these spirits in the fields, that something would come and harm them. So what they ended up doing is they just threw their sickles out, let the sickle fly and do its cutting, and then they would go out and collect the harvest. That's very interesting. And here's an example of a hook or sickle. And this is obviously one that's you do by hand, so you're very close to the grain as you're cutting. Sometimes there's longer handles, so you can get a larger bunch, but this handle here is shorter, so you can get a little bit closer to it and take more control of how you cut into the wheat. Areg Baha, hello, how are you? Thank you for watching. Also to let everyone know, there's not going to be any readings today, with the exception of towards the end, so please stick around when I do a reading just specifically for Lammas. Okay, so this will be like 3 cards just to enter into our first harvest and just see where our energy is going to be taken during this time. Okay, so Areg Baha, thank you for joining. Everyone who's watching, thank you for lurking or just listening. And feel free to take part in the conversation if you have anything that you'd like to share. If you do celebrate the Sabbats, and specifically this Lammas, which takes place tomorrow, let us know. This is an open forum where we can exchange ideas and express how we feel about our practices and our beliefs. Okay. I have Woolly Hermit here. If you see someone with a wrench, if you're new, anyone with a wrench is a moderator, so they watch for anyone who may be spamming or just being a troll of some sort, which we don't want, because Mel and I know how to take care of trolls. So she keeps an eye on that, and anyone else that I have assigned for moderators, they watch this and they put it to work. How to block haters. What do you mean by that, Arid? Are you talking about like on YouTube? Let me know. I'm not going to answer until I get a reply from you. Let's see. Okay, so she in here talks about how to block haters, my enemies. Well, Arik, I'm not doing any readings right now, but let me know. I'm going to probably be doing readings next week. I'm not sure. Maybe either this Wednesday or next Sunday. I have to see how my schedule is. But right now, my energies are all focused on this season here of Lammas, so I won't be doing any readings. So feel free to hang out, okay? And then, like I said, I'm going to be doing a reading towards the end, so maybe the reading that I do for this Lammas can give you some insight and direction on how you can deal with a certain troubling situation. Let's see here. I want to read here. Has anyone made the corn dolly? I remember buying these like when I was a kid. I guess like at the hobby store. My mom used to go like to the equivalent of Michael's and Joann's back in the day. And they would always have these dolls. I didn't know what they were at the time, but I just thought they were really adorable. And they weren't made out of real corn or wheat, but they were straw-like dolls. And I thought they were adorable. Little would I know, fast forward 4 decades later, that it has a deeper meaning. So if you do decide to create a doll, oops, I think Spirit just got okay. Spirit, you'll probably see shooting out over here in a minute. You can bless this doll that you have. Mother of corn, I harvest thee. In spring thou wilt a maiden be. So spring represents the maiden season. Summer, fall represents summer's more or less the mother season of the triple goddess. And then our crone season, we start going into the fall, winter months, our darker seasons. So we have this whole transition. So mother of corn is the perfect word to describe this point of where we are in the summer, the highest point of maternal energy, fertility, so on and so forth. And then crone is as we continue waning, we go into the darker aspect of the crone energy, our fears, our weaknesses, the darker side of ourselves. So a corn doll is something to represent this time of the year, and it's wonderful. Let's see here. I want to see what else I can read here for you. The ladders if these ancient traditions of Lammas are seen only as quaint remnants of a religion from a time when human survival depended on a good local harvest, there can be little in them that a contemporary pagan living in a time of industrious farms and chemical fertilizers and insecticides can appreciate. But if we can see the ancient rituals, I'm going to stop here, because basically it's telling us to just go back to our roots, do everything ourselves. Let's go back to a DIY state. people were doing this when it came during the time of the pandemic. I spoke to some people that they weren't certain what was going to be happening with food, which is happening right now. We're getting shortage of vegetables and bread and milk and so on and so forth. So a lot of people, and I'm not surprised that there's an explosion of cookbooks and books on how to grow, your vegetables and how to make your own breads and stuff like that to rationalize. And what's wonderful in that whole process is that it becomes an enjoyable process, because as consumers, we're so used to buying things right off the shelf. But here, we're in the process of making it. We're putting our own energy into what we're creating, and we're assimilating it, and we're sharing it with others through a feast, through dinner. So by getting back to these basics, remember the meaning of harvest, giving back. It's like that Six of Pentacles. Everything that you've worked on, may have been some challenges along the way, but you've continued through and you've worked to it. You get right to that point. It's like, this is wonderful. I feel like when I do these lives, I feel like it's a harvest of sorts, because I'm giving back to those who listen and who take part in the chat and leave comments and interact with me. For me, this is a harvest kind of practice for me, because I feel and I get feedback from people, and I'd like to give it back to everyone else. Let's see here. Yeah, she talks about cornbread sticks for the Lammas feast. And there's even recipes. Remember what I was saying here? For cornbread and whole grain bread. So if you can, during this harvest season, look at some books. If you really want to bring in this energy for the next couple of months, the next 2 months, 3 months, start making things fresh. Start making things fresh from scratch. And enjoy the process. And don't be hard on yourself if it doesn't quite turn out the way that you want it. I have here, Lammas Day in Europe was traditionally a day to pick berries. Picking and eating bilberries, in particular in Europe, was once a sacred act. And now it's strawberries here in the States, raspberries, blueberries. She was saying here that the best time to collect them is now, because come October, the berry season is done. So, the grains again, the berries, the fruits, the vegetables, start utilizing it now. Be creative with those forms of sustenance for us. Okay, see if you can challenge yourself and do something fresh, and cook with those items. Jams, jellies, sauces. This is the time to work on them. Alrighty, so that was a mouthful. Is anyone celebrating Lammas? Are you going to be doing anything in particular to bring in this harvest season? Now, with berries always available here today, I forgot when they are actually in season. Yeah, take advantage of it. Like, go to the farmer's market. There's an area not far from where I'm staying. It's a little area in Albuquerque called Corrales, and everything is farm fresh. And if you go on certain days of the week, there's this one particular farm that allows you, I think you pay like a flat fee, and you go into the farm and you pick whatever they have. I don't know what their sources are. I see rows and rows of sunflowers, but I know behind those sunflowers, there has to be vegetables there. It looks amazing. So I need to do that while I'm there, and photographically it looks amazing. It's just like rows of well-maintained sunflowers and vegetables. It's very green. So take advantage of the farmer's market. Every Saturday, Sunday, if it's once a month or at the end of the month, do it. And I think also around the fall seasons, these farmers markets do very well, because they have their crops right at their peak, and it's time to harvest, give back to the community. Hi, Beth. Let's see, I'm making cornbread. Oh, excellent. I also have a squash from my neighbor's garden, going to saute it. Oh my God, that sounds wonderful. That there is a perfect example, Aspasia rising. And I actually have, I'm going to do the reading, the VisionQuest for this Lammas. That is a perfect way. You don't have to go all out. You don't have to get all the vegetables that are suggested during Lunasad, but work with some of them. Fresh, fresh greens. And again, it's the month of August, ruled by Leo, the sun, vitality. This is where all those sources get their life force from. So the more I'm talking about it, I need to go to the farmer's market again and experience all this fresh produce, farm to table, handmade, put in with love and care. It's so important, and you feel the difference, in your body. You feel more energized as opposed to getting something that's processed. Excuse me. It's very yellow. Let me guess, yellow squash, right? But this is the season. From now, probably all the way to October, November, we start seeing different kinds of squash. We start getting the pumpkins coming out towards the end of September, all the gourds. We see all those strong, hardy vegetables that are used to display either on the table for a dinner feast or for cooking. Zucchini, yes, zucchini's another one. It's round and flat, and the stem is spiny. I got rid of, I had it's not squash, it's almost like a heirloom pumpkin that I kept from last year. And they come in different colors. This one was like yellow and green. And I kept it from last year all the way to when I moved here. And it lasted that long. And probably the reason why it lasted so long, it wasn't moldy, it was still solid when I would tap on it. Probably because of the coldness of where I was up in the mountains, it just kind of preserved it. But about a few weeks ago, I looked at it and it started to show mold. So it's like, okay, time to throw it away. And when we get into the fall season, I'll bring in another one. Excellent. Yeah, they're beautiful, and that's another beauty of this time of the season is when we can display these different kinds of vegetables, and seeing the different shapes and sizes that they take. It's wonderful. There is I'm gonna look here. This popped into my head. I don't want to jump too far ahead for the autumn equinox. Okay. I don't know how well you can see this. See right there? The bowls and the baskets of all the different squashes. Now this is for autumn. This isn't for our current Lunasad, but here's an example of a preparation for ritual for the autumn equinox. Exactly. I totally agree with you. You can admire the beauty. It's like when you have a garden, whether it's flowers or whatever you're growing, you hold great respect to it because this is the work you put into it. You're seeing the results. It's like the garden is like the journey of the pentacles, because you have to put work, you have to nurture it, so on and so forth. But then you see the results. It yields these results based on how well you take you took care of it, how well you maintained, you know. Beth, this one. I should put it in the description. But I thought with every Sabbath, people would catch on to this book, but it's totally fine. It's a wonderful book. There's also The Wheel of the Year by the same creators, the Campanellis. The Wheel of the Year focuses more on not so much the history and the tradition that we see here, but it focuses more on the ritual side of the Wheel of the Year, Sabbats, and different ways that you can celebrate with a coven or by yourself, solo. But I decided to get this because it does cover the Sabbats, and I wanted a book that also brought in history and talked about some of the different traditions. So I've gone through this book little by little. Again, I pull bits and pieces of information that when I do these lives, I can share with you. It is, I believe it is, Mel, because I got this last year, and I believe this is, let's see. Okay, so this is the 6th printing. This is the 2020 edition, and it's the first revised edition, but I think the first one came out in, let me see here, 1991, and Pauline passed away in 2001. I think her husband preceded her before she passed away. But yeah, it's very simple. It goes through, here's in bulk, how to create potions during different times of the year. It's a wonderful book. A little old school, but that's great. Tradition. I like that. On sale on Amazon. Keep looking around. You may find. I think that's a fine deal. I can't remember how much I paid for this. I think I got maybe before the holidays kicked in, and the holidays being Samhain, so I think they had maybe a discount on it. I can't remember. But still not bad. Another thing that I want to share with you here, and then I'm going to go into the reading, is I have this bag of incense that is part of my Wheel of the Year incense and oil set. I don't know if I should call that. This, a friend of mine, a very good friend of mine in California, as I was building my connection with the seasons in Imbal, not Imbal, seasons in the Wheel of the Year, I wanted to contact her to see. She owns a metaphysical shop, and I think I mentioned this about a year ago. And I asked if she could create oils and incense so I can bring in the Wheel of the Year energy. And so I was looking through my book upstairs of incense oils and magical planetary properties. And I reached out to her and I told her I'd like some incense for specific seasons and oils for the rest of the seasons, or for the Sabbats. And this is one of them. I do not know what's in here, so it's even better. Because when someone creates a blend, like a personal blend like this to represent all the seasons, I don't even want to know what's in it. Because my friend has been practicing witchcraft and metaphysical energy work and whatnot for over 20 years, 25 years, and she has this shop. So it's very strong. It's a little bit on the red side. And if I was to describe the smell to you, it's earthy. It's earthy and herbal with a slight perfumey scent. I'm not saying that she did anything artificial because all of her products, all her oils and incenses, I've been to her shop, are straight from the source. So she spent about a month creating 8 different oils and incenses to represent this time of the to represent the wheel of the year. So I'm going to use this very sparingly for each of the Sabbats. Samhain, I use more. The bag is almost halfway empty because I used so much of it last year. It's medicinal, but there's something very, very, I want to say perfumey, but there's a strong oil scent in here that I think makes more of the fiery aspect of Lammas come into play for use of this incense. So I wanted to share that with you. I wish you could smell it because it smells really good. It's very strong. I have my incense and oils in a special wood container. And, with wood being porous, that wood box smells like an apothecary. It smells like different incense and oils. It smells very nice. I'm going to put this here. Seymour's right here. This is my housemate's skull, but I like it. It's very nice. It's pungent, but it's not like camphor. It's pungent, but not like I'm trying to think. There's one scent that you got to be careful. Camphor is one of them, but one of these scents, I'm not using the right word, is if you burn it, you have to clear the room because it's toxic. So you have to wear a mask or create with this particular herb. You have to burn it outside because it's very toxic after a while if you're in an enclosed room. So you have to be careful with it. Let's see. Let me take a minute here. If anything should be old school, it should be a book called Ancient Ways. Oh, yes. The other books, like I mentioned, that they've done outside of Ancient Ways is that Wheel of the Year and a book called Pagan Rites of Passage. As I mentioned, I described the Wheel of the Year, the Pagan Rites of Passage. I'm not sure what that is about, but judging by the title of it, I am guessing it is about different ways to connect with pagan practices through rituals. I'm not certain of it, but it's something to look into. Let's see here. Even Ray Buckland gives a thumbs up. A delightful book that beautifully complements the author's Wheel of the Year. Ancient Ways. There's actually a store in the Bay Area called Ancient Ways. It's one of the older metaphysical stores. I think it's been there since the early 80s. And they have 2 locations. One is in the East Bay. Well, they're both in the East Bay, Berkeley and Oakland, California. So if you happen to be passing through those areas, look up the name Ancient Ways. And I think there's one store, like the first store that they started is the main store, and they have the larger selection of metaphysical items. And then their other store, I believe, is a little smaller. I think it's in Berkeley, but I know the first one that they had is in Oakland, unless they closed the one in Berkeley. I'm not too certain. It's been a long time since I was there. You're allergic to eucalyptus. Yeah, eucalyptus is safe. Eucalyptus is, it's congestion for the chest, for the nose, so it loosens up phlegm. I used to hate that smell whenever I shouldn't say hate, I didn't like eucalyptus whenever I would go by the eucalyptus trees and stuff, but when I burned it, it smelled wonderful. Beth, it's called Ancient Ways, just like the book. And if you do a search, Ancient Ways, type in Oakland, California, like Metaphysical shop, and they have a website. I don't know if the website is open to do orders in, but the next time I go into the Bay Area, I don't know when that'll be. If I have time, I will pass into the store, because the store has a plethora. When I remember, like I said, it's been 30 years that I was there, a plethora of stuff, jars and bottles and books and all that stuff. But it's like the real deal. It's not like a newer metaphysical shop. It's very traditional. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this reading. Does anyone else have anything that they would like to share and discuss for Lammas? The next live that I'll be doing will be a little bit larger. It will be for Mabon, and because I don't have my calendar here, I believe Mabon is on the 21st this year. And so whatever day that falls on, if it's on a weekday, depending on where my schedule is, I will do my Mabon Autumn Equinox live, usually that weekend before. So it'll be either Sunday or if it happens to fall, Autumn Equinox, if it happens to fall on a weekend, then I'll do it on that day that it is set for Autumn Equinox. Hi, Nancy. No, totally fine. I'm getting ready to start doing the reading, but you can look back. I'm going to keep this a little short because I've been low with energy with our weather shifting up and down. When weather changes dramatically, the barometric pressure shifts greatly. So my energy's been on the lower side. So I'm trying to keep everything stable and rest as much as I can. I have been there. I just moved from, okay. So you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's on Telegraph. Yeah, that's the very shop. Dragon's blood. Dragon's blood is a good incense for protection and to expel negative energy. I was gonna say, if you're feeling negative, if you feel like you're not feeling positive, I wouldn't, this is my opinion, my personal opinion, I would not burn dragon's blood. Dragon's blood I would use if you feel like you're being threatened from external forces, like if you feel like you're threatened, or if you feel like there's some energy coming towards you, like that may be in a attacking manner. That's when I would use dragon's blood and some other incense to work with. To feel a little bit more grounded and more spiritually centered, hands down frankincense and myrrh. That's the only thing I need. Other people create blends, but frankincense and myrrh is that one to go to if you want to burn during a meditation ritual, tarot reading, any form of divinatory practices. Frankincense and myrrh, just hands down. But yeah, dragon's blood's good if you want to, protect yourself from any negative psychic energy. But if you're feeling negative because of where you're coming from, I wouldn't burn dragon's blood, because that may actually weigh that energy down even more. You want something that's more uplifting. You can use peppermint too. Peppermint is something good to clear the mind. It's more mercurial, but it's also very clearing. Eucalyptus as well. Those are clearing energies, things to put up your energy more so. Also mentioned mugwort. Okay, from here, mugwort is a form of protection, but it's protecting. It's an herb that protects what you've worked on. Also protects you as well. Okay, from any harm coming to you. Alrighty. Thank you, Mel. Thank you for putting up that note. So let's just go ahead and get right to the reading. So for those who are coming in now or just watching, I'd like you to take a look at my summer solstice reading that I did in June, where I mentioned this at the start of the video, but I'm going to mention it now, where I did a reading. I pulled 6 cards to represent July, August, and September. Okay, those energies of Cancer, Leo, and Virgo. So one of the cards from the Witch's Oracle that I pulled represents this energy for the month of August, which is interesting because this is the card that I pulled. So we're looking at rebirth in consciousness. So this is a shapeshifter. This is and this is actually a wonderful card when you think about it. Okay, the bat does deal with things that we can't see, but we feel and we sense. And I feel for this time of the year, as we're waning in August, this is a good time to, even though it's a solar month, this is a good time to really bring that solar energy. I'm going to show you this card. Okay, this is from the Wildwood Tarot. Bring this energy influence and bring it inside. Okay, so we're going to swallow this fiery energy of the life force, the vitality. Okay, and we're going to use this to kind of delve into our deeper selves. What are we feeling? What's calling us right now? Okay. Bats move out in the evening. We sometimes see them in the daytime, but the evening is where they are most potent. And they are associated with the moon because of that instinctual energy that they have. And also I want to show you up close. Look underneath. We have the revealing. We have the lotus. The releasing of what's being explored inside. This is a reflection of what's going on inside of us. Okay, so this is our focus here for the month of August, or we could start this for Lammas. Okay, let's start exploring inside a little more. Everyone does this in different ways. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull 2 cards. This is just for Lammas, and this reading doesn't apply to anyone specifically. It just applies to the season of where we're heading into right now. Okay. So I am going to be reading with the VisionQuest, and before I forget, I will be doing readings for our second decan of Leo, because that'll be coming up on Wednesday. So that will be recorded, so stick around for that. And I just mentioned that because Leo is that energy, very strong, confident sign. And so I feel by bringing that energy during this month of Leo and during Lammas, being proud of any achievements that you've had, knowing that you did good, okay? And even if things are hard, okay, you're still in the process of exploring and trying to sort things out. I think it's really important during this time to be moving, to keep doing things, to keep searching, not to just be stagnant and think and wallow and not do anything. Nothing moves in that way. So this is the month, Leo. It's the peak season to get that stagnant energy, burn it off. Let's bring this in, okay? And let's focus on this, okay? Our shift in the way that we see things through this influence of the sun, bursting through our heart and giving us that excitement, those thunderstorms and lightning storms that we get. Electromagnetic fields, those ions, like Mel was saying, very important. Get a recharge. Okay. All right. So here is the reading for Lammas, for everyone who is listening, watching, and on the replay. Okay. May you drink a little bit more water. Hold on a moment. Okay. So let's make this a collective reading. Okay, as I'm shuffling, just send thoughts into this reading, everyone. Okay, what you want to get rid of. This reading is about all of us. Okay. And again, this is the VisionQuest, using the Witch's Oracle of the Bat for guidance. All right, here we go. First card. Oh, get out. Sorry. For those who've been watching my discussions and my videos will understand why I just giggled. Okay, so remember we got the bat. Okay. Flying inside, delving inside. Answering the calling that's coming straight from our heart, from our deepest depths. Listening to it, being drawn to it, knowing that there's something very potent to come from this. Okay, so the first card I got from the VisionQuest is the Hermit. Okay, and so for those who don't know, the reason why I giggled is, me personally, this is my year card. So I am taking this. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Has this been a problem for anyone? I wish someone was saying. I have like some ambient music in the background that I just completely tuned out on, so my apologies. Okay, just say something. I shut it off. Okay. So whenever there's a disturbance noise-wise, please interrupt and say, because I want to make sure you can hear me. Okay, it's gone. So perfect timing, so at least you can hear the reading. Okay, all right. You don't hear anything, right? Because I have, the music is off. Okay, all righty. So we got the Hermit. Okay, I'm sorry. Let me know, okay? Alrighty. So this goes hand in hand. So for those who may be feeling like they are heading in this direction, or their year is the Hermit, this works perfectly. Okay, we're trying to find guidance within ourselves. Okay, this reading again is for Lammas. We're trying to find guidance and not being influenced by any external resources. Our influence for the Hermit is coming from within. We can use that moon as it's beginning to slowly wax to its full moon state. We can use this for guidance. Okay. This is a wonderful card to start into our harvest season, time of seeing what has been done, reflecting, seeing where we are right now. How are we feeling right at this moment? This card actually has been on my altar since a few months, once I changed my birth year archetype. So I think it's getting empowered, and it has been showing up recently. So here we have the Hermit energy. Hermit also represents Virgo, which will take place during the time of the autumn equinox. So got from this time of Leo into Virgo, let's work with this energy of reflection and revelation and being honest with ourselves. Okay, other two cards. Let me move this one here. The Daughter of Water. Okay, this is the equivalent to the Page of Cups. So as we go through this soul-searching process, we're learning, we're growing, we're letting go. But as everything ebbs and flows, so does our emotions, so does our feelings as things change. And this card's a beautiful representation because we see the phases, the phase of the moon. This moon can either be heading towards its new moon, or it could be gaining, could be waxing, it's in its crescent state. But we're connecting to this energy. And so during this month, let's move with how things are feeling more inside. Okay, so let's follow our inner guide. Okay, our inner guide represents the mind, body, and spirit. And another thing I just pointed out, look at the stages of, we got the full moon here, and then look at the stage here. Okay, these cards are definitely in sync with each other. And there's a contentment because there's this understanding connecting to the self. And emotionally, you start feeling complete. You start feeling like things are coming into place. And so we need that synchronicity. We need that feeling of attachment. Give me 1 minute because Spirit's at the door. I'm going to be right back. He's not quite ready to come in, so my apologies. Jezebel, hi, how are you? The next card that I have here, though, okay, for Lammas, this is a representation of the Fool. So Native American tradition, they usually have some of the Kachina dolls to show the clown. So the clown we see is of a free spirit. This is a place where we have this liberation of the self. Okay, we have the steps here. Okay, we have the Hermit. We have this. We have this feeling of contentment and peace, emotional peace. And here it tends to kind of jump a little bit off. We get into the playfulness and the lightheartedness and just being open-hearted to things. It's like we've done the work, we've done the soul searching. We understand where we need to be, where we want to go. I'm going to show here closely too. We have the instinctual howl, we have the release, we have this primal energy here. This is like the shadow behind the individual who is being let go of any attachments that they had. And so it's time to acknowledge that. And in a sense, this is a way of starting anew, getting a new perspective. Okay. rebirth in consciousness. Okay. Not necessarily the clown-like behavior, but just that playfulness, that lightheartedness. It's very important. Okay. This is quite different from these two cards because this is a time of innerness and interconnectiveness. And here with the clown or the fool, we have this freedom, we have the revelation, we have the happiness, like you were stating, the joy, the excitement. We have the reverse of this. Okay, so if I turn this card like this, we get this. This is the inner reflection of what the hermit has been going through. The revelation, the understanding. Sorry, I'm looking up for spirit. So, I'm not going to say this is a serious reading, but it is a reading to really just get attuned to yourself during this time of the year. And, as we start winding down this energy for the year, I almost feel there's a sense of a purge that's needed because we are ending a season and we're getting ready to begin a new one. And so I feel with this kind of energies, how are you going to approach this end of the season? Do you want to approach it in a very wild, frivolous way? Or do you want to apply it in a way that's just a little bit moving in the direction of the season, waning, slow, taking account of everything around you, how you're feeling, how others are feeling. Let's slow this energy down, okay? And let's go with this, okay? So when I pulled this card, when I did the summer solstice reading, the Witch's Oracle, I did 3 cards. These are the key, this is the key force to represent for that month, okay? So for June, I had a different card. July, I had a different card. July, I had one card. August, I had this card. And September, I had a different card, all from the Witch's Oracle. These are the key guides of energy that is to be focused on. And then these is how we use this energy, how we can work with it through the guidance of the bat or whatever card that I chose. So that's what I'm saying. If you want to look back at that summer solstice reading, it's in the description. And you can see the cards that I pulled. Now, the readings I did back then were specifically for the summer season, the start of the summer solstice. Here, the reading that I did then for August holds different energy as to what it is now. It is for this month. So that's why I want to use the same card, the same card for August, but pull specific cards to represent this energy during Lammas and during our first harvest, and how to work with it. Okay, so it's a very grounding. Reading for this month, and again, this is just very beautiful. Look at the stages again. I know I said it earlier, but of the moon, our hermit energy. Sorry, my spindly fingers. Daughter of water. Look at the phase here, going more internal. So I would say this is probably more in the waning stage. And then look at this release, like summer colors and the sun setting. But that release, we've got that primal energy of the coyote in the background, the wolf. Okay. So there's your reading. I was gonna highlight a separate reading for Lammas, but this reading I really enjoy, so I'm gonna timestamp it. So for those who just want to watch the reading, not hear me meander, they can go right to this reading. Let me know how this reading resonates with you, how it connects with you. I got the Hermit. The first card I pulled was the Hermit. Second card, Daughter of Water or Page of Cups. And then the Clown or the Fool. Okay. So I've been encouraging people, if you watch the readings that I do, pull out these cards, put it on your altar. This could be your Lammas altar, even if you don't have all the accoutrements or anything like that. You can bring those cards to welcome in this the start of the harvest season. Okay, let me drink and let me take a look at the chat here. Jezebel, thank you for coming in. Okay. Sweet dreams, Jezebel. I don't know if you're still up. Sweet dreams to you. Mel, yes. Excitement and joy of a new season coming, or just, a different perception. Remember here, this is our guide, our card of guidance for the month of August. So when we go into a new season or we go into a new Sabbath, there's going to be a change. There's going to be a shift. So you're going to feel that. That's what I'm pulling here for Lammas, for Lunisad. What deck is the bat in? It is, I think you've asked me this, Mel. Witch's Oracle. Love this deck. Love this Oracle deck. It's beautiful. It's my Wheel of the Year deck that I go to, where I pull a card for each month when I do the Sabbath readings. It's by Sally Morningstar. In the Clown, is it a wolf or coyote? I'm thinking coyote, as that animal is known as the trickster. Hi, Bree. How are you? See, Mel. Oh, you haven't seen that deck? I've used it in my Sabbath readings. So maybe you've seen some of the cards, but not associated to the Witch's Oracle. But that's where it's from. All my Sabbath readings. I love it. Let's see here. I'll probably say coyote, because I am not certain. If anyone wants to please correct me on this, if the energy of the coyote and the wolf is different. I want to say the wolf is bigger than the coyote. The coyote is more like a domestic looking dog, but not quite, because it's on the wilder side. The energy is different. Yeah, the wolf would be probably more of knowledge, but spiritual instinct. The coyote, I almost want to say, represents the primal side of us. It's also instinctual, but it's coming more from a different form of energy, which I can't put into words, because I always interchange coyote and wolf. But as I'm mentioning those two names, I'm feeling like there is one more mature than the other. And this here, really quickly, this almost looks like a fox, because the fox is also seen as the trickster and the one who likes to play games. So maybe we have the energy of the coyote merging maybe with the wolf and coyote, because it has, the coyote here looks like it's getting larger, like it's taking the shape of a larger creature, like maybe the wolf. Let's see, Mel. The coyote seems more predatory than a wolf. See, it's hard, right? I'm gonna need to go online and look and look between the differences. I know there is, but I intertwine them to hold the same kind of energy. The only thing that distinguishes them is their size, but they do hold different energies. So like I was saying, the wolf, I feel, has more knowledge and intellect, while the coyote is more instinctual, and like you were saying, Mel, makes sense, more predatory. But so is the wolf. The coyote, Beth, the coyote in Native American myths is often depicted as playful and is called the trickster. Okay. The wolf to me represents family or community as they work together. Yes. That makes sense. Yeah. But there are also packs of coyotes too. But I guess what Beth is saying here is that culturally speaking, they can hold different meanings. So Beth, thank you for sharing that. And I almost want to say, as I move this forward, so you can see, I feel like the clown, the fool, is almost like a medicine man of sorts because of the bag around his neck. And don't know, but we do have a glow around him. He has a protectiveness around him, so he is a strong force. This could be maybe the magician in the making from the fool state, because from the fool we go right to the magician. So maybe we're seeing this transformation of energy of the fool coming into spiritual and intellectual awareness to where it transcends into the magician. It's interesting. Yeah. Okay, Beth, thank you again. I really appreciate that. It's one of those things like, what's the difference between the raven and the crow? And so they do hold different energies. I have to look into that more, but it makes sense for the wolf to be family and community oriented. But also coyotes work in packs, but probably more in a predatory sense, like Mel was saying. You know, like they work in packs to attack an animal and kill right there. You know, they work together in that sense. Coyotes can cohabitate with humans, but wolves cannot. Okay. Wow. I have to read about this. Because I think if I come across these informations about the differences, I'll start being able to start seeing the separation between those two different species. Pooja Gupta, hello, how are you? Thank you for coming in. So I think that's it. I'm going to wrap it up. It's almost 7:00 here. Thank you for joining me. I'm doing good. Doing wonderful, Pooja. Thank you. I'm wrapping up. I'm not doing any live readings today. This was a specific episode to celebrate Lammas Lunisad, which takes place tomorrow, August 1st. It's one of the first harvest celebrations for the Wheel of the Year. So I did a discussion talking about different traditions and different perspectives of Lammas. I read quite a bit, not a lot, but quite a bit from The Ancient Ways. This is a book that I always make reference to for the Sabbats. I have one other book as well, but this book was just standing out to me a little bit more, so I want to share that with you. And then I did a reading here. So again, in closing, this is our guardian, our card for the month of Leo. Change in the way that we see things spiritually. Our Hermit, Daughter of Water, Page of Cups. Okay, pull these cards out, put them on your altar for this week if you like. And then the Fool, or the Clown card. Okay, and this is the VisionQuest Tarot, and this is the Witch's Oracle by Sally Morningstar. The VisionQuest is by Gayan, Silvie Winter, and Joe Dosé. I'll just show you the box so you can see what it looks like. And this Bridget came out in 1998, and this is I believe the 2021 edition. So it's the VisionQuest is my summer deck. It's the deck that I've been working with, and I completely embrace it. It has beautiful energy. Alrighty, you're so welcome, everyone. Thank you so much. Feel free to subscribe. I have videos coming up, as I mentioned. To do so, you just tap the notification bell, and you'll see when videos or lives will be taking place. Let people know about this channel. I do everything live. Everything's unedited. My hiccups, my sneezes, my coughs, my sipping of water, twisting, tripping over my tongue. That's who I am. You get it unedited. And thank you, whoever sent me that sneeze. Many blessings back. Excuse me. Okay. Thank you. I do, Beth. Each and every one of you, just by taking part in the chat. Doesn't matter to me if there's 40 people here, 2 people, 20, 13, whatever. You're here. That's all that matters. And you're listening. And importantly, you're giving me feedback. So that's what I appreciate. Thank you, everyone. Firefly, I'm sorry. Hopefully you're listening, but if you just came in, I'm done. So I will be back within the week for my Leo 2 Decan reading. So keep an eye out for that. That will be recorded. And I will be doing live readings anywhere between now and next week. See how the schedule's going, and have a wonderful Lammas. Okay. Remember, give back to others. If you have extra to share with people, give back. But always keep, resource to yourself as well. Don't give all of your energy. Don't harvest everything you've built up on and give it all away. Share with people who will be of appreciative. And just look at this card, okay, for Leo. Exploding from the heart, vitality. All right. Thank you, everyone. Happy Lammas. Have a wonderful week. And I will see you all again soon. Much love to each and every one of you.